Welcome to Zooming to Webinar Success. If you're needing to plan a virtual meeting and are stuck, this series is for you. Full-time voice artist Grant Holmes is also a busy virtual meeting manager and on-screen host. Learn tips and tricks to having successful virtual meetings from step one. And now, here's your host, Grant Holmes, the webinar guy.
Hey, this is Grant, the webinar guy. You know, for several episodes now, I've been talking about marketing and promotion. Why so much concentration on that? Well, it's the juice that gets the seats filled. Over my marketing and brand development career, I've had one constant example I give to people. Why would you start a business in a blind alley, not put up any signs, and then not tell anyone that you're open? Well, of course you wouldn't. So all of your marketing is quite frankly a decision on what you can afford in both dollars and time. Now, as you promote that webinar, virtual or summit or expo, you got to keep that in mind. The biggest challenge I see in this market today is a lack of preparation, and maybe that doesn't surprise you. One great thing about the webinar and virtual conference space is that everyone is pretty much forgiving when the technology is a bit rough. I mean, who hasn't lost a connection or had a shaky one, right? They forgive glitches and maybe less than perfect handoffs. But to me, it's sort of like the fast food market. When you hit the drive-thru, you know full well the food is not going to be high quality. You know that you're going to have to wait too long, right? You know the food is, 97% chance of being cold when they hand it to you? But in a crunch for time, what do? We go through the drive-thru knowing full well that the experience is going to be disappointing. But when you really want to enjoy a great meal, what do? You go to your favorite sit-down restaurant. What made it a favorite? On nearly every visit, the staff did everything they could to provide great food, great service, and a great overall experience. I want you to consider the entire package of your virtual session, training, or hybrid event. The question to you overall is this: do you want to be drive-through or fine dining? Answer that, and you'll have the answer on how to approach all the planning you need to do from day one. This is not to say that you need to aim, and never fire. There is the well-known quote that perfection is the enemy of greatness. But decide today, decide right now, drive-through or fine dining. This is a pretty serious thought process. And now I'm going to toss one more at you. We've already discussed that the aim, but never fire thing isn't great. But most people have no appreciation for the amount of planning, work, and experience it takes to provide fine dining. Remember, there's a reason fine dining is more expensive than takeout and a lot harder to pull off. We can hire a 16-year-old and with 2 or 3 hours of training, they're a cook. Now think of the chef at your favorite restaurant that has a degree from a culinary school that knows how to build fantastic recipes from scratch. Be the chef. The more you can do ahead of time to conceive all that you're going to do is crucial. I've done many a first-time session for a client that we had planned to do X more sessions, and then they realized that their normal schedule doesn't allow for the exact thing they wanted to do. Another example, back in the day, I did a lot of marketing for clients that wanted to produce a regular newsletter. They'd get the first one done, all on fire, and then the second one was, a little harder, if not a bit late on the cadence they'd hoped to achieve. And then after a while, I found them missing the next episode altogether, and then finally, they'd drop it. In case my 17 examples haven't worked yet, here's the advice, and I know you'll be surprised to find out that it includes the webinar guy and the webinar team. At the very least, engage with us, or someone you know that knows the webinar, Zoom meeting, virtual event space for at least an initial strategic planning session. It's surprisingly how affordable it is and can make a huge difference. One more story and then I'll stop. Probably. If you know me for any length of time, you know I'm an avid motorcycle driver. I ride all the time, often 5,000 miles a year and more. I've worked as an instructor. Years ago, a buddy of mine, thinking he wanted to ride, took a rider's training course. Not one I taught, and that's a very smart decision, by the way. After the course he took, he never wanted to ride again. That simple investment of time and money made him change his mind on riding. He knew he never wanted to be part of it. That's a great investment in my mind. Many take that same course and now know they're better provided to move forward as a rider, maybe riding a lot and long term, like me. Let's get together and strategically plan your virtual meeting or meetings. We can get you started. And like I said, it's surprisingly affordable. Remember, drive-through or fine dining? Who do you want to be? Next episode, I'm going to tackle more from our webinar planning form, readily available on thewebinarguy.com. And until then, remember that this series is for smaller organizations and solopreneurs that may not be tech savvy, don't know all the steps, or don't want to know all the steps, or need help with planning and wanting to be fine dining. Over this series, I'm going to lead you through the significant decisions and capabilities you'll need to Zoom to webinar success. As always, if you need help right now, you want to start that strategy session, don't hesitate to reach out to Webinar Pro at thewebinarguy.com. Thanks for watching, and if you're on the podcast, thanks for listening.